Give it a few minutes. Hi everyone. Hi Shrikant. Hi Shawn. Let's talk Tuesday. Every Tuesday that I do this, and I am when the Tuesday talk finishes and I'm prepping for the next one, I think, oh, it's so long. I've got 7 days and this and that, but suddenly time is flying. Even though we are in lockdown, time really is flying. Days are getting busy and busy and busier. Hi Murli. How is your lockdown, guys? How's it going? Are you able to do everything that you thought initially you would be doing? Have you been doing something new? And have you been keeping fit? Which is today's topic. So I'm gonna try and link it here so that how do I pin it? There. I finally learned how to pin my own comment. Yay! Yeah, so today's topic is about fitness and how we can and we should be staying a little bit fit during this lockdown. When this lockdown initially started, I was wondering, I've just started going to the gym, and I'll get into a little bit of how I got into the gym, which has a lot to do with our today's guest, because he really made me feel very comfortable at the gym and showed me how to do whatever I could with everything. So, but now I realized initially when the lockdown started that I wasn't sleeping too well, too much screen time, no structure to the day, and that's when I started doing a little bit at home, and I realized that I'm sleeping much better because the body is tired at the end of the day. So yeah, and also today's guest is Shawn, who's been my trainer, and he's been in the fitness space for a number of years. And what I like about him is when I first met him and I spoke to him about how I don't like gyms, but I still want to do something to, stay healthy. He made it seem so simple and so easy. He really, took me through the first baby steps of how we can. That's the first thing that he taught me, just to be comfortable going there, having a workout gear ready, having your time of the day ready. Hi, Shawn.
Hello. Hello.
I
How
was
are
just
you?
introducing you. I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Very well.
I was just introducing you to my audience today, and I was just telling them about how we met and how you really helped me understand that going to the gym doesn't have to be painful, it doesn't have to be um, confusing, because I was never a gym person. And when you met me, you really showed me how to get comfortable in that environment, having your workout gear ready, having a specific time in the day when you tell yourself, okay, this is the time I'm going to work out. It just makes it seem easier and eases you into it. And also how you, another thing that I love that you did for me was when we would be working out, you would record my own exercises using those machines, which made me feel so comfortable. And I have some of those videos. I still go back to them to check the form.
Yeah.
Am I doing the correct form? Even at home when I do the squats, and just to refresh my memory, am I doing it correct? So thank you so much for joining us today.
It's good to be
And
here.
yeah, uh, and I've been loving your recent quarantine posts about eating well, about keeping fit no matter what situation you're in, no matter what stuff you have at home. So why don't you tell us a little bit about how you are working out before we get into anything else.
Yeah, so I think for me at the moment, it's keeping things simple. So I know there's a number of movements that I do in the gym. So what I do
Mm.
now is I've sort of stripped those right back to doing body weight, a very lightweight compared to what I'm used to doing, which
Okay.
is keeping me moving forwards. Okay, it's the goals have slightly changed. They have to. Um, but keeping things very simple. So I'm working by muscle group each day
Mm.
and performing things that I can do at home. So, for example, the legs, it's hitting a squat because I know I can do that. I can change how I do that squat, for example, in order to
Okay.
still feel the benefit of that workout. So it's just taking things back to basics and looking at what
Keep
I
it.
can do.
Mm.
Yeah.
Shawn, if I may, there's some slight feedback coming from your side. Do you want to pop your headphones in, or should we?
Could
Or
put
should we
up to
just
him
give it?
1 second.
Yeah, sure. So what you
Yeah.
said
So
actually makes a lot of sense that, just keeping it simple, but making sure that you're doing what you're comfortable doing.
yeah, I think everyone's situation is different. So it's
Yeah.
looking at everyone's routines changed very quickly without having much time to sort of just check what this is, without having much time to sort of plan, what was coming. So
Yeah.
the first step for me is thinking, how has my day-to-day routine changed? For example,
Okay.
people now have the children at home. Some people are working, and you still want to get your workout in, but you've got other
Mm.
priorities. So it's looking at your priority list,
Okay.
thinking, right now I can't follow my usual routine, and it's being accepting first of all that things are going to be different and that you're going to have to work in a different way. Your workout, some people it's going to fall down that priority list because you've got to
Mm.
homeschool, you've got
Yes.
to cook your meals for yourself, the kids, you've got them around you all the time, but some people still have to do a day's work. So
Absolutely.
it's managing things, and it's okay if your fitness isn't getting the time that you're used to giving it, the attention, but you've got to look at
Mm.
ways where you can fit it in. It might be just that you do a half an hour session. That's okay for now. And I
Yeah.
think the sooner people get okay with having to make changes, it's good for their mind and good for their sort of routine and approach moving forward.
Mm. So well said that, the moment you start accepting that it's going to be different, and the moment you start accepting, even, I know some people who are very, very regular with their fitness and are just like really, pay a lot of attention to their eating, prioritize, like you're saying. Yes, it's very important that we realize that it's okay, even if things are going to be a little different. Uh, just fit it in your lifestyle, in this new normal lifestyle that we are having. That's such a lovely point to make. The moment we realize that, it'll be easier for us.
And I think one of the
Lovely.
biggest things is taking some time out to look at the bigger picture, like putting things into
Mm,
perspective. Right now, we've got a big problem that's hitting everyone in the world.
that's
So
true.
it's, to get through this, we have to all work together. Gyms are shut, but it's looking at the bigger picture and thinking, right, I've got to do my part. And
Mm,
right now, that means that I cannot have the routine that I'm used to. And, once you accept those things and get that, sort of
mm,
get that mindset, you sort of
yeah.
can move forward and you sort of accept the situation we're in now. It's not going to be forever, but
Yeah,
right now it's
it is what it
it's just
is.
looking at, yeah, and it's also being grateful for what we have now. Most people, we can get on a phone, we can see workouts are free, YouTube full of workouts. It's
Yeah.
there's things you can copy, there's information out there that you
Mm,
can take away. So it's a lot of people in the world don't have that. So
mm,
I think it's being grateful for what you do have, looking at your
amazing.
situation now and just making the best of the situation.
Mm,
So yeah.
yeah. That's so good because the moment I think it works on so many different levels, acceptance, because the moment you accept, okay, fine, this is what my situation is, this is my current equipment, one yoga mat and a few dumbbells and a few weights that I have. It also relaxes your mind, like you're saying, And that going into
That's it.
that gratitude of that, you know what, I still have the ability to work out. I can still afford, like you're saying, some people do not have the ability to actually access online workouts, and they're just in a different situation. So just being grateful for what we have also relaxes the mind and makes you more productive also.
That's it. And I always say this to people that I work with, it's focusing what you can do as opposed to what you can't. Once you get over that barrier, you can start moving forwards. It's looking at the positive side of things that you can act on today, tomorrow, to progress and move forwards. So
Amazing.
yeah, that's how I sort of approach things. Even for me, that as soon as I realised the gyms are shut, I thought, okay, I was okay with it at first. Then after a while, I was thinking, okay, right, what do I do now? And I took a bit of downtime, but now I'm stepping things back up. I've actually sort of been a bit creative with how I'm actually training. I've made some sandbags, and it's looking at what I can do. And I'm enjoying training. It's a bit different. And I think the thing, staying fit at this moment in time, it doesn't, although your long-term goal might still be there, in the interim, you might tweak that and look at working different aspects of your fitness. So it could be things like flexibility, mobility. It could be focusing on the nutrition side of things, really tightening up on how you're eating and building those habits, thinking about things that you haven't worked on before, just to take that pressure off yourself. And again, I keep saying it, focus on what you can do. So, stretching, core work, core strengthening, you can do all of that stuff without equipment. So it's just looking at what else you need that will supplement your training and support your training in the long term.
That's such an interesting view, because a lot of times, like you're saying, you just have one goal and you're sticking to a particular routine and you're sticking to a particular diet. And right now, it's actually giving you a moment to rethink those goals and do something, like you're saying, you've not really focused on before. That's such a positive message. And it actually makes a lot of sense in this time, because if you're not pushing those, you're not doing those deadlifts as much as you can, but you can do something else with your diet. You can change your mobility and stuff like that. It's amazing.
And looking at your technique, so stripping things and saying right back to basics, looking at your technique it's the right time to sort of tidy things up, So just have a look at what you're doing, tidy things up, and sort of
that actually brings me to a question that a lot of people now who are starting, who might want to get fit and everything, what would you recommend would be like, what are the first things that they should keep in mind if they're starting workout right now, when there's no gyms and there's no one-to-one sessions that we can probably get with a trainer? It's all through a screen. What would you recommend, so that we don't hurt ourselves?
Yes. So what I would say is, first of all, you need to look at your goal. Okay, your short-term, long-term, look at your goal. And then you want to target your workouts to something that you can do consistently. And make sure you understand why you're doing this, why are you trying to be fit? Why are you trying to lose weight? What is your goal? Understand that. And then once you understand that deeper reason, you will then have a reason to get up and do it. Your routine's challenged at the moment, but it's understanding the reason why. And then you've got to strip it back down to daily actions that you can do to build towards that goal. Now, at home is finding workouts that you can do, you've got space to do. If you've got bits of equipment that you can use, building your own workout. Okay, and then you've got to work that plan. Start off easy, start off simple. So it doesn't have to be full of complicated moves. If you have some experience, start with that, and then get good at doing that, repeat and build week to week, and then just add slowly to your sessions, the time that you're doing your exercises for. It could be the number of reps. It's all about starting at a place where you feel comfortable, get used to it, and then you start to slowly progress. So it's just being aware of what you can do, where and you've got your own goals. So you don't want to be doing a bit of everything from everyone. Get good at your plan. And then you want to see progress. You've got to work your plan and slowly over time just build on that. So give it time. That
makes sense, because like you're saying, there's so much of there's so many online workouts happening right now, and to do everything that everybody is doing would be crazy. And to just build, like you're saying, have a few basic exercises, start with that, focus on your technique, and yeah. Okay.
Yeah, especially,
Um,
you haven't got that direct guidance either. So the thing
yeah.
is, it's, keeping it very simple because you don't want to confuse yourself. Last thing you want is to get injured. So it is
Yes.
about, start off with what you know, what you can
Yeah.
sort of copy, replicate, and just take
Hmm.
it down to your level. You don't have to be
Okay.
like everyone else out there. It's all about
Okay.
yourself and your journey. So yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. Okay. That also brings me to one of the questions that I got was initially, once you start exercising and putting a little bit of attention on your food, you do see results immediately, almost within like 2 weeks, you will start seeing results. You'll feel better, you'll sleep better, and all of that. But what happens when you start hitting a plateau? Like, what do you do when you can't really feel a difference in your body weight? You're feeling the same amount of toned that you felt at the beginning, and
Yeah.
how do you get
So
to a plateau?
with a plateau, so the first thing you've got to do is, first of all, be honest with yourself, stop and think, how am I actually feeling? Am I simply exhausted?
Okay.
How are the other parts of my life going at the moment? Are you stressed with work? Could it be that, is it your social life that's sort of taken a change? Is there things going on with family? Look at
Okay.
those aspects,
Hmm.
assess those. And then, if
Hmm.
those are all okay, you then probably want to look at, it could be as simple as you need to take a rest. Okay, and
Okay.
that's okay because if you're training solidly for 6-8 weeks,
Hmm.
it can sometimes become a point where you just need to take a rest. So what you can do is you can either just take some time off, a week, a few days, whatever it is you feel you need. Take that time away, switch off from the training,
Okay.
and then come back and see how you feel, sort of getting back into your routine. That's really the first thing to do, just taking a rest. Now, there's many other things you can do to sort of manipulate and change your training in order
Hmm.
to overcome a plateau. So one of you could be just taking a deload week, so a week where you're still training, but you
Hmm.
sort of take it down take intensity down. So it could be that you
Oh,
reduce the length of the session that you do. You just go
okay.
out and do walks instead. You keep active, but you just take a few
It's too
steps
much.
back from what you're
Okay.
normally doing, what you've built up to.
Okay. So just
Um,
letting your body relax and sort of pull back and seeing how much is too much.
yeah, it's just taking a step back from what you've built up to. So you've done 8 weeks, solid quality training.
Yeah.
Okay, and just taking a step back for a week. Okay, it could be where you just drop the weight that you're lifting, or it could be, you reduce the number of reps, you cut down
Okay.
the sets,
Okay.
you can increase your rest time.
Hmm.
Okay, and then on the other side of it, it could be that it's sort of time for a change in your program. So it could be that you need a new program.
Hmm.
Okay, you might need to adjust the intensity of the exercise you're doing, sort of step
Okay.
you up to that next level. So you've reached the peak of your program, so to speak,
Hmm.
and it's now time to step up to the next level. That's where you can
Oh,
sort of see and you accelerate your results in that way. So,
okay.
you're feeling good. You've done a great job. You've hit your 8 weeks, whatever it is. It's now time to
So,
step up to the next level.
so when you say step up, what exactly do you mean? Do you mean that we should be doing more reps or increasing the intensity, or what
So
exactly does
yeah,
step up mean?
it could be that you increase the reps. So you
Okay.
might add 2 or 3 reps, just so that
Okay.
where, let's say 12 reps feels fairly comfortable, you're hitting 12 consistently, and you get into that point where, okay, I can do this. You might up to 15, for example. So you're
Okay.
making those last 2 reps might feel a bit more challenging now. So that's where
Hmm.
you want to get to. It's just
Oh.
finding small areas that you can
Hmm.
tweak to make things a little bit more difficult.
Okay. So just stretching
And
yourself a little bit. Hmm.
yes, and one of the best way to sort of to work this is sort of just change one thing, 1 or 2 things. So you don't want to change everything. Change
Okay.
1 or 2 things, and then see how you feel. Give it a bit more time, see how you feel.
Okay.
But that's if say your training's going really well. It's not you're not fatigued. It's not other areas of life that are impacting your training.
Okay.
It could be that. And I think the other point is that motivation. So sometimes it could be that,
Mm.
as I said at the start, it could be that you just need a few days off,
Yeah.
reassess why you're doing this, mental
Mm.
break from it, and then coming back to it, and you've got released energy to sort of push on and progress. So yeah,
Mm.
there's many ways you can overcome a plateau.
Mm.
Those are just, I sort of keep it very simple, but
Mm.
you know what I work with clients that I train, and it's it's talking to them. How do they feel? Looking
Okay.
at what they've been doing over time, and
Mm.
it's just looking at the small changes that they've made, the progress that they've made, and it comes to a point where sometimes it's
Amazing.
time just for a small change. So it is quite detailed, but
Yeah.
first point is to look at and be honest with how you actually feel.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. That's a good pointer. That also brings me to another part of fitness is food. And
Yes.
now that we are in quarantine and we go out, at least we're all going out only to get what we need, and we're not spending so much time in cafes and restaurants. And um, although I must say that I'm guilty also of baking a few cakes when I didn't really need to. And
Mm.
so but the one good thing that I've noticed is that because I'm going to the grocery store just to get what I need, I end up planning my meals, which I was not so good at before this lockdown. I would never plan my meals. I would just buy a bunch of stuff that I would need, and then I would do it. Every day would be different. So now I feel like I'm really planning. Okay, this is for this week. This is the protein for this week. This is what I need. This is the yogurt. So do you feel that too? Are you do? I mean, you've always been very good
So
with food. I know that as a as first hand, I know that you've been very good with your food. But do you feel there's a difference? And can we take advantage of this lockdown and really?
yeah, so I think you sort of touched on it already. There is that it, I think it starts with the shopping trip. So if you can control what you buy,
Hmm?
and right now it's sort of we're limited to, we don't nobody wants to be queuing outside of a supermarket for however long it takes. So if you control what you buy, and
Hmm.
in this situation you're not able to sort of just dip in and out of the shops, you start off with the source of food, so you're getting your food in, you make the
Hmm.
right choices in the shop. What you've got at home is what you're going to use. So now is probably a good time to sort of build that
Hmm.
level of habit. So yeah, so the shopping list,
Definitely.
I think, having a shopping list before you go out to the shop is a good place to start. So you know exactly what you need for
Hmm.
the week ahead, or however long it is you shop for.
Hmm.
Work out how much food you need, what you need, but also what you can store,
Hmm.
and then you buy that. Okay, so you've got everything you need. You thought out the ingredients, the
Hmm.
flavors, the actual foods themselves that you need to make up your meals. So start with a good shopping trip.
Okay.
Um, if you get that right, that's the first part of the task ticked off.
Okay.
Okay, and then after that, I think moving forwards with the actual meals and cooking, organization is, very important.
So,
Um, it's prepping your meals in advance for a few days. You know,
mm,
I'm actually doing the opposite with that because I've got time, and it's again
mm,
changing things for me. I'm enjoying cooking a bit more frequently now, so I haven't got days of food prepped. I'm doing the opposite because I've got more time, which is good. But for those people that are trying to build better
mm.
habits, prep for 3-4 days in advance. It doesn't have
Okay.
to be every single meal that you prep, but maybe you do your lunch and dinner, or
Mm,
you prepare your snacks and your lunch.
mm.
Start off at your level, and then
Okay.
at least you've got some. You're
Yeah.
organising some sense. A, that saves you time,
Mm.
and B, when you're busy, you've got kids running around, you've got there's work to do. When you have that, sort of your busy life's going on, if you've got your food organised in that situation where you are busy, hectic, your meals are ready. So you're not going to make a decision where you just grab what's convenient. You
Okay.
make something that's a bit under par as to what your standards you set
Mm,
yourself. So it's about organization.
mm,
Organization, okay, reduces overwhelm,
mm.
and you're sort of in control.
Yes.
And food is one of the areas that you can control. Okay,
Yes.
it's one of the areas you can. Now, you need to look at your habits
Mm.
around food and be aware of them. That's one of
Okay.
my bits of advice. Be aware of the habits that aren't keeping you on track towards your goal.
Mm.
So yeah, so that's the second thing, being organized, prepping
Mm.
some meals in advance.
Mm.
And I think the third thing is, now I've been there where I've calculated food to the gram. I've weighed everything out and it works. And, you know, it, for some people, it's a great way to do things.
Mm.
However, for a lot of people, it can be quite tedious, and
Mm.
it's having a system in place that works for you. So, don't be afraid to make meals, make them tasty, make them
Mm.
enjoyable, know what's
Yeah.
going into your foods, but
Mm.
it's about portion control. I've got some systems in place where people can very quickly sort of manage their portion control, and
Mm.
it's useful. It's very simple because
Yeah.
for people who haven't got kitchen scales or don't want to be
Yeah.
counting calories and weighing the
Absolutely.
food out, you need another system. It's
Yeah.
not for everyone. So it's understanding what works for you, and
And
also including some of the foods that you enjoy as well. You have to
mm.
enjoy your food, because if you don't, there's only so long you could stick to a very plain and boring
Yes,
diet. And
yeah.
and for most people, it's not realistic. It's not a long-term change that you
Yeah.
can stick to. So
I remember this is one
yeah,
of the first things that you said to me when we first met, and I found it so inclusive because it didn't make me feel like I'm entering a very strict regimen of, being in the gym and eating a certain way, and being Indian and being vegetarian. My food habits were very different to somebody who goes to gym and eats his raw chicken and boiled chicken and all of that. So I found that so inclusive when you said that include what you enjoy, but give it a healthy twist. Like if you're having lentils, make sure you're having a good bowl of lentils and not just as a side, so that you're getting your proteins from the lentils.
exactly.
So
Yeah,
yes, I remember you telling me that. So that makes a lot of sense to
that's it.
a
And
lot of people who listen to it. It's also part of, I think, getting intimidated by the whole fitness thing, because a lot of us want to get fit. A lot of us want to have, you know, lose weight. We would like ourselves to be at least 10 pounds lighter or more. But then it gets too intimidating to do your meal prep and everything. And like you're saying, having a system in place, some sort of an awareness that, okay, this is for 3 days, this is what I'm going to eat. So, just chop up some veggies and keep and have some sort of meal prep done, so that when it comes to it, it's not overwhelming. So yeah, I think that's a great
that's
point.
it. I think what you don't want to do is make it consume your life. You can spend hours in
Mm,
the kitchen every single day if
absolutely.
you're not careful, and before you know it, you get tired of doing that. So you've got to look at sort of a place where you get a sort of happy balance. That's what you've got to do. It's all about balance. You've got to,
That's true. It's all
again,
about that.
where your priorities lie, where your responsibilities lie. It's
True.
not sort of working out how to sort of cook recipes. We can get those quite easily, but nobody wants to be just in the kitchen all day. you know
Yeah, that's true.
Nobody wants to be that. And
Yeah.
it's just looking at what you can do to A, enjoy your food, but B, still keep on track
Mm.
towards what you want to achieve.
Mm. I think somebody just asked, I think it was more for you, because they want to know what is your personal fitness goal as a
So for
trainer
me
who's
at the
somebody.
moment,
Yeah.
yeah, so for me at the moment, my goal is to keep in as best shape as I can.
Mm.
I putting on a bit of size. Obviously, my that's my longer term goal, is
Yeah.
sort of keep putting on a bit of size. But for now, I know I can't necessarily achieve that I probably need to be in the gym to do that.
Mm.
And I've acknowledged that. So it's keeping in the best shape I can at the moment. And, it's also just enjoying training, enjoying training
Mm.
from home and being ready to go back. Once the gyms reopen, I want to be going
Yeah.
back with new program,
Mm.
and whenever that is, working up um, to for as long as that is, so it could be towards the end of the year. And one of the things that's in the back of my mind at the moment as a goal is potentially doing a photo shoot. So I've done a few in the past. but I'm looking to
Lovely.
potentially do another one, hopefully before the end of the year. Um,
Okay.
so we'll see. We'll see.
Oh, nice. So you're building up towards that, yeah? You have a certain look in your
That's
mind, and yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's in the back of my mind. It's not 100%. I need to see how long this lockdown and gym closure period goes
Yeah,
on
yeah.
for, because I need to sort of know what time I've
How
got to be able
to?
to sort of achieve that. But
Yeah.
for me, it's just keeping myself in the best shape I can at the moment and being happy with how things are at the moment. That's it. Being happy.
So well said. Just being happy in whatever we have right now.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions that you've received that you would like to go through, Sean? Or
Yes. I have. So one of the questions that I got was um, how to build the booty, so to speak. So building
yeah,
the glutes.
booty.
So for me, right now, I think it's focusing on, again, keeping the exercises simple. You need to, or you should be trying to hit exercises that hit the largest muscle groups. So for building the glutes, it's squats, lunges, and a deadlift type action. So where you're sort of working, sort of like it's a pulling type action from the floor. Now you haven't got the load necessarily to the weight to do that. So
Hmm.
it's seeing, have you got a couple of resistance bands? Have you got a bag that you can load just to lift?
Okay.
It's keep it very simple. But I say squats and lunges as your priority. Those are your main exercises, and then from there you can start to look at things that are a bit more isolated and target the glutes very tight, very specifically. And that's things like your kickbacks, your step ups.
Okay.
Um, there's loads of exercise you can do, but for me, I say squats and lunges. Get those in.
Hmm.
If you don't find them challenging enough, you're fairly well conditioned. Think about how you can make them more challenging. So slow the reps down. You know, cut your rest period between
Hmm.
sets, increase the reps, put pauses in your reps. There's loads you can sort of manipulate just to sort of enhance and sort of make that a bit more intense for
Okay.
working those big strong muscle groups. So
Okay.
yeah, maybe I'll do a little a video just to answer that question with
Yeah, that'd be
something that,
fun.
yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so
What?
yeah, I'll look at that. But it's yeah, definitely squats and lunges is what I
Yeah,
advise. Get those in. They're things that you can do at home without equipment, and yeah, that's the start point.
makes sense.
And then the other question I got was how to work the lats when you've got a set of dumbbells at home. Now,
Okay.
3 exercises I'm going to give are bent over row. Okay, so that's where
Okay.
you're standing and you're pulling dumbbells, your length forward, sort of shoulders over the toes, pulling in. And then again, same thing, slow the reps down if you're not finding the sort of it challenging enough. Single arm row, okay, so it's working sort of bent over row, but with one side only,
Mm-hmm.
and pullovers. So lying
Mm.
back, again, if you've got a dumbbell, you could pull it over your head, okay, and you're sort of targeting lats in sort of from a different angle. So again,
Mm.
it's it's not being creative. If
Yeah.
you've got other bits of equipment, great. But if you
Mm.
haven't, the back is kind of one of the harder muscle groups to work without kit, but there are ways around it. So
To
it's just
reach
a
it.
bit of research and ask someone who knows. Like,
Mm.
I've sent videos to people where just to give them sort of visual guide as to the exercise they're doing, because
Mm.
it's just giving them a bit more guidance on how to do the exercise, because sort of
Mm.
discussing it is quite difficult. But ask someone who knows, again on
Okay.
YouTube, research
Mm.
it. So yeah, those are the 2 questions that I got. Yeah.
We've got another one.
Okay.
Shrikant is asking, I've been exercising for a while, but I've stopped gaining muscle. Any idea what's happening? How much protein?
Okay. So if you stopped gaining muscle, I would say you probably need to look at your nutrition as a whole. So your overall calories,
Okay.
it might be time to sort of increase those very slightly. And then
Okay.
it's tweaking. As you say, how much protein, difficult to say. But do send me a message, because we can actually look at how much you're eating at the moment and work that out for you and
Okay.
sort of see a sensible increase in your protein. But
Okay.
yeah, I think it's
What's your thumb rule, Sean? Do you have protein with every meal, or do you have it once a day? Like, what's your thumb rule that you follow?
I have it with every meal. So yeah, every meal. So it's getting
Okay.
enough in, and it's making sure, you know, if you're wanting to gain muscle, you've got to be in a calorie surplus. Now,
Okay.
it's got to be a small enough, it's got to be
Okay.
enough, but not too much so you're going to suddenly pack on loads of weight.
Oh,
It's just a small increase. Okay, so
okay.
you've got to be consistent with it as well. You know,
Mm,
you've got to be consistent each day if you want to
mm.
put on quality muscle. So, yeah, there's a few things we can look at there. Just drop me a message and we'll have a closer
Okay.
look. Yeah.
Okay. That's good. And also talking about food and protein, I'd like to pick your brains about a lot of us are vegetarians, and
Yes.
so a lot of people do struggle with getting their protein in as a vegetarian. What would you recommend, or is that just a myth because we know we can get our protein in from the vegetarian diet, but I think it's more of being aware of how to actually eat those foods and to include it in your diet. Could you give us
Okay.
some?
So what you need to look at is where your protein sources are. Now, there's certain foods that you can eat under a vegetarian diet that are good sources of protein. So your job is to make sure that from those foods you're eating enough of them to
Okay.
get the right amount of protein for your body.
Mm,
Okay, once you do that, you start to build up a base of, you know, you're getting protein in, getting the right amount. If it's not enough, then you probably want to look at an alternative
okay.
protein source of protein. So something like corn,
Okay.
those type of foods. But
Mm-hmm.
then the third thing, and I'd say only sort of start to think about this after you've got your baseline, your base diet right, looking
Mm.
at supplements. Okay,
Okay.
if you're really struggling to get protein, then go to supplements. So you've got to
Okay.
look at the types of food that contain protein under
Mm.
your style of diet. So that
Okay.
could be things like lentils, beans, and having a combination of those.
Mm.
Um, get those in first. Look at how much protein you're taking from those foods. So you've got to sort of get into the details of the nutrition,
Okay.
and then from there,
Then you
you
build
sort of
up
start
and
build up from there.
yeah.
Yeah. So it
So your
takes a bit of
first
time, a
advice
bit of
would be
research.
okay. First advice would be to get your whole foods, get protein from real food, and then move on to maybe supplements and other things.
100%. Yeah.
Okay.
So I get a lot of people ask me, what supplement should I be taking? It's okay. It's there. It's exactly that. It's a supplement. Have you got your food right
Mm.
initially? And most people haven't. You know, they haven't paid enough attention to their nutrition, and
Yeah.
then before they've given time to food alone, they want to
Mm.
jump onto supplements. And I think it's
Supplements.
using a supplement as an extra. You know,
Okay.
it's an extra, and if you get that right, supplements will work better for you. Get your
Mm.
food right first. Make sure you got your food habits right first as well. So food
Mm.
right, you know, your sources of food, the habits of your eating right, and then supplement as a third string. So yeah.
What do you think about intermittent fasting? Does it work for you? Is it good for losing weight, gaining muscle? What is your view on it? I just thought about it right now because
It's a good question. Yes, it does work because I personally don't. I've tried it, but it's not for me. That's the
okay.
thing. If it's for you, then you can go with that. But you've got
Mm.
to be very disciplined when you're doing it. So when it comes to mealtime,
Mm.
you do have to get your food in,
Yeah.
and you have to be again. You have to give these sort of things time.
Yeah.
But I know people who followed the diet for some time, and you know their results are great. You know they look good. They've been able to do it successfully. But you've got to look at, you know, you've got to be willing to commit to it.
Mm.
And again, you've got to be disciplined around sort of actually seeing it through.
Yeah. Sticking to the hours that you need to be fasting and yeah.
Exactly. And when you do eat, during that window where you do eat, you have to be prepared to sort of commit to getting the right amount of
Yeah.
food in. So
Okay.
for a lot of people, it's quite difficult. You know, it's easier to break their meals down throughout the day. But for some
Mm.
people, it's a focus,
Getting
but
used
it
to yeah.
definitely can work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Good to know. I think we've got one more question. I don't have a workout routine. What is the simplest workout to get flat abs and kill my baby bump?
Okay, so
Food baby,
to
yeah.
get
Yeah.
to get flat, no, to reduce to get flat stomach, you need to be working sort of your whole body. You cannot target that area, so to speak. So it is
Mm.
focusing on the exercises that hit big muscle groups. So it is your squats, shoulder press, you know, you're working your chest, hit the bigger muscle groups,
Okay.
get the intensity up in those through those exercises. Okay, and give it time. You will sort of see that change. But when it comes to sort of dropping body fat, it is about your nutrition. Okay, you've got to get that right. Um, one of the things I always say is don't underestimate the power of nutrition. If you really want to take your physique, your body to the next level, you've got to really get to grip with what you're eating and your habits around eating. Once you do that, you know, the training will enhance what you can achieve.
Mm.
But
Wow,
definitely
lovely.
big
Very
muscle
nice.
groups, you know, sort of big muscle groups, you know, work those and you'll make better
Yeah,
progress.
there's no shortcuts to fitness, like
Not at all,
Shawn
no.
says.
I think,
Yeah.
you know, you can try things that last for, you know, 30 days, you know, you can make so much progress, but if it's something that's quite, you know, you say all these fads and diets and you know, all these teas and products out there, you know, they do work, but the thing is, you're not able to use those for forever. You know, there's going to come a point where
Forever.
your body crashes and says, "You're not feeding me. You're not putting any quality into my body,
Mm.
or you know, you're forcing me to follow this style of eating." But and it's not something you can sustain, and that's the thing.
Correct.
It's got to be something you can do for the long term. You know, you want to be able to
Absolutely.
enjoy life, not just cut everything that you enjoy eating out just to look
Yeah.
a certain way. That's the
Yeah.
that's the underlying message. It's you've got to enjoy
Mm.
life alongside your fitness and eating and nutrition
Yeah.
goals. So it's getting a
So
balance across
important.
everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
So important to all this conversation also in social media and otherwise about body shaming. And then there's this other extreme about being extremely aware of your calories and being, working out, being in the beast mode or stuff like that. So there are two extremes that we get to see so often on social media. And what you're saying is so beautiful because fitness is a part of your life. It should enhance your life and it should make you be able to enjoy life at the same time enjoy your fitness as well. It's not separate from the whole experience of living. Yeah.
See, that's the thing. Yeah. So you at the top end, let's say top end of the spectrum, you've got a competitive bodybuilder. They love what they do. You know,
Mm.
they love what they do. So for them, getting their calories down to to fine
Yeah.
detail, that's what they'd love doing. So for their life and their goal, that is perfect.
Yeah.
You know, for everyone comes, you know, sits on the spectrum in a different at a different level, and it's finding what works for you and your lifestyle.
Mhm.
You know, and ultimately,
So nice.
if your goal is to be a bodybuilder and you're happy doing that, that's perfect. If you
Yeah.
want to, you know, if you just want to get in shape and feel good, then that's happy. That's going to make you happy. That's perfect for you. So it's finding your level and
Mm.
what you need to do to reach that essentially. So yeah, that's
Wonderful.
that's what it's all about.
Thank you so much, Shawn, for joining us today. I had a lot of fun chatting with you and getting to know a little bit of from other people's questions. I learned a lot. And guys, Shawn, I think you're still taking clients even in quarantine. And uh,
Yes,
yes,
yeah,
so anybody who's looking for a little bit of professional advice and just needs a little boost of how to understand how to move their body or with nutrition as well, I'm going to link your profile as well at the end of this.
okay.
Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Shawn.
thank you
Keep
very much.
stay fit, and I'm loving the posts, so keep entertaining us with those and giving us pointers with every little thing.
Thank you very much, and
Thanks,
everyone. Thank you
Shawn.
for joining. Stay safe, and yeah, just do what makes you happy. You know, at this time, it's okay to sort of be a step down to what you used to. Just keep it
Mm.
positive and be willing to adjust to the current situation, and hopefully we'll be back to normal at some point soon. So Yeah, thank you very much.
Beautiful.
And yeah,
Beautiful. Thank you so
thank
much.
you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye bye. Bye.